Vanquish Vision concept, reviving the iconic Vanquish name for their entry-level mid-engined series production supercar. And I mean, just to look at this thing, to think that this is going to be their entry-level car, kind of blows my mind. It is sculpturally incredible, and obviously you can see the design language that's filtered down from Valkyrie, down through 003, and now into the Vanquish Vision concept. I must stress that right now this is its concept form, but it does showcase the design language for what the future of this car is going to hold. So this is the fourth model in Aston Martin's mid-engine series, following from the Valkyrie AMR Pro, and the AMRB 003. And it sends Aston Martin into the mid-engine sector, which is obviously, up until this point, has been previously defined by the likes of McLaren and Ferrari and Lamborghini, but this is their answer to cars like the 720S and the F8 Tributo. Now, some key tech highlights to include are the bespoke bonded aluminium structure. So this isn't going to be sharing a carbon tub from the likes of the Valkyrie or 003, which is a big contributed to the step change in price. So this is going to be around about £250,000 to £300,000 once it's available for sale. In comparison, 003 is going to be £1 million. So there is quite a step jump. Then obviously Valkyrie, you're up to 2.5 up to 3 million. So without the carbon tub, this is more of a, dare I say it, accessible supercar that's going to be entering the mainstream. But it is still going to be sharing the V6 engine from 003, albeit in a slightly different tune. And right now we don't have any performance figures on this car. It is, as I mentioned, quite strictly the concept form of this car, but I mean, conveniently we have 003 just over there, and you can see the design language is directly ported over to this. So Miles Nurnberger, Aston Martin Director of Design, has said that the Vanquish Vision concept has more of a seductive and less technical appearance than the Aston Martin Valkyrie and AMRB 003. I mean, when they're stood next to each other, I can appreciate that statement, but in isolation on its own, sculpturally significant. What I particularly like, actually, is in contrast to the 003, where the wing mirrors have been integrated into the bodywork, these are more conventionally housed, so you can see that they are acting as wing mirrors. I know that's less aerodynamically efficient, but still, it's so futuristic. Look at this. And this is tech which is filtered down from Valkyrie. Instead of using conventional glass mirrors for wing mirrors, there is now screens housed within inside the car in order to see your surroundings. This is, as I mentioned, super heavily concept, so there is actually no interior in this car right now. But in terms of how this thing is going to look overall, we're not far off here. And once again, massive diffuser, which has been inherited from 003. In fact, I mean, as big as that is, I've not ever seen a diffuser on a car as big as 03. It might even be larger than Valkyrie. It's colossal. Secondly, in departure from the Aston Martin Valkyrie and the 003's all-carbon fibre construction, the Vanquish Vision concept features a bespoke bonded aluminium chassis, which is more akin to the construction that Aston is using in its current road cars. But importantly to note, this car is going to benefit very much from the trickle-down learning that has come from Valkyrie and 003. Now, surprisingly, they have taken the covers off this car incredibly early, because we're expecting this car to hit the road in 2022. But what's great about that is there's going to be a lot of learning trickling down from Valkyrie and 003. So by the time this car hits the road, that V6 hybrid is going to be very well refined. The aero learnings will trickle down, as well as the fancy new instrument clusters and displays that we've seen in 003. And this is going to be up there and sitting alongside what the equivalent of McLaren's 720S will be by 2022, and Ferrari's F8 Tributo will be in 2022. So it's going to be a very exciting time. I think this car in particular, as well as 003, is going to make the industry stand to attention. Lights still taking inspiration from Valkyrie and 003, but interestingly, the positioning of the exhausts have been moved from the top of the engine bay down to a more conventional placement in the rear bumper. So as the name would suggest, this is the concept version of what this car is eventually to become. As a result of that, we don't really have any true facts and figures. We don't even have any examples of what the interior will be like either. So normally I'd be able to add a lot more in-depth information as to what the driver will experience once they're inside the cockpit. But up until now, this is basically to give you guys a insight as to what Aston's plans are for the future of their new mid-engine range. Don't forget, this is going to be a non-limited edition production car, which is amazing to think. I mean, this thing is so beautiful. I'm not sure if the camera is doing it justice, but even though this car is sat next to Valkyrie and 003, it still holds its own, despite the fact that this is going to be effectively a production car. The vision that Aston has for this car is incredible. So the ethos of the Vanquish vision concept is to calm things down a little bit from 003 and certainly from Valkyrie. So the Vanquish concept has a more seductive and less technical appearance than the Valkyrie and AMRB003, but it's still extreme in terms of visual gestures. For example, it has a very distinctive clamshell front fender with openings so you can see through onto the tyres, which is very race car. There's less of the negative space that defines the look of the Aston Martin Valkyrie and AMRB003. What I mean by that is there's less sort of open spaces where you can see around the tub and openings where the aero flows through it, etc. This is a more conventional road-going supercar. But nonetheless, the idea is for this to be the prettier car. So it's been designed to thrive in a less extreme performance environment, but still holding its own on the track, even though it's a road-biased car. So as we've seen with Valkyrie and what we will see with 003, Vanquish concept will also be going through a rigorous development process as it nears its final production specification, and that's going to be in the hands of drift guru Matt Becker and newly appointed development driver Chris Goodwin, who I had the honor of sharing a good chat with when I was driving the Valkyrie in Red Bull Simulator. That video is yet to drop, so keep an eye out for that one. So right now that's about it. There's not a great deal more information I can provide. This is just a solid look at the future of Aston Martin and their entry-level mid to rear engine supercar. But off the back of that, I can tell you, standing in front of this thing, it is absolutely stunning, and I can't wait to see what more unfolds from this amazing brand. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I shall see you next time. Ciao! It's what you make.